she's going. There she is. Hi, Nigel. Maybe I should go. Maybe I should turn my phone. Should I turn my phone?
Yeah, I want to see you upright.
Okay. I don't even know if I can. I don't know if I can. Let me. I can do it now like this. Is it echoing though now?
Can you hear it echo?
Is it
I hear
echoing?
a little bit of feedback. I do hear a little bit of feedback.
Yeah, I thought so. All right. What about now?
I don't think so. I think we're good. Say something.
Hello.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. So
Ashley,
I feel like I'm darker
so
now.
good to see you live with you. I feel like I don't
I
know. I
know.
love being live with you. I'm like all smiley. I love this. I love it.
I just want to say hi everybody and good night. It's me, Ashley. It's Nija. I know that I have been gone for a long time, as I addressed when I first started the video, because I have been gone for a long time. And it's not that, you know, I have abandoned anyone or anything like that. It's just that I feel like I always have to tell you guys that we have different seasons and they're different times. So sometimes it's time for you to learn a lot of information and take it in. And sometimes it's the season for you to dump all this information out to help other star seeds that have not received this information, to help the a collective of everyone. Okay. So, you know, tonight we're going to be talking about some of the things that's been happening on TV, some of the things that Nija has been exposed to, and some of the things that I have been doing. We have been doing different things. And that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to go live, because there's a huge melting pot right now of topics that are surfacing everywhere and every day. You know, last month we were on COVID-19. Now we're on Black Lives Matter.
We're getting paper. We're getting stimulus. We're Netflix and chilling. And now we're, you know, in a different situation. I'm happy that we're talking about this though, and I'm really appreciating other influencers that I watch talk about things that matter. So I hope nobody's like triggered by the fact that we are going to be talking about just our experiences and things like that. I appreciate when people use their platform to spread knowledge and spread truth and raise the vibration, and that's always what Ashley and I aim to do when we get together. So yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I wanna start this off with about money. I love money, so
yes,
and
I love the money topics always.
Yeah, that is the affirmation that everybody needs to say every day. I love money. You know, money is not the root to all evil. You know, it's the intent behind it. So, you know, right now America is on unemployment. A large rate of percentage of people are on unemployment. And some people feel like this is a really bad thing. You know, it's really, really frowned upon. But at the same time, unemployment boosts middle class people to a whole nother financial bracket, which it scares so many people that are knowledgeable about inflation, that they're very concerned that everything is going to go skyrocketing and the United States is going to go to hell. Now, that is one perspective. It's not my perspective. I can truly understand what they're saying, but at the same time, like I said before I was quiet, to me, in my perspective, we are on a path to a debt recovery road, which means that money is going to be thrown at all of these people who have given their energy into the matrix, slaving into the matrix, thinking that they're going to accomplish all these different things and get pennies thrown back at them. It is going to be equal now, and we're moving into that as propaganda and media declines and shows, you know, all the fail of the government, the fail of all of this stuff, and we're going to be able to witness the truth of all of this coming out. So for me, because I'm going to move to Niger in a second, because I feel like this is the segue into that. I have been using my extra money to put into my platforms to be independent and entrepreneur. And I would suggest all of you guys, if you have the opportunity to be on unemployment, to take this extra money and reinvest it into yourself. Now, for me, I have not been watching the news, which I don't. I don't know what happened to that African American man, and Nigel's gonna segue into this because that's where I'm moving to. I don't know any of the things other than the fact that I can visually see people wearing masks, and that I know COVID-19, the sanctions on it are being released. Okay, you know, for us to go back into regular population. And the reason why I'm giving you this perspective is because I don't know any of that. I am really happy. I am, you know, just I'm in a beautiful Airbnb that I probably normally would not have taken the risk to do, but I did, and it makes me feel amazing. I feel good, and I just want to say, like, don't ignore what's going on. I'm not. That's not the message that I'm saying. I'm just saying that when you don't know, you still are in like a bubble of bliss in a sense, if I can understand. And when you do know, and the reason why I'm saying this is because I didn't know, and I was talking to Nigel. We were talking like how we always were talking at night, and you should have just saw her face, all these emotions, because she was using her eyes to suck in all of this material because it was visual, it was on Facebook. And she's like, oh my God, I mean, and I'm like, girl, what's wrong? And she's like, it's the, and I'm like, don't tell me. And then she was like, I'm not going to tell you, I'm going to tell you a little bit, but not this part or this part, not that part. So I'm going to, you know, move the floor over to Nigel so she can talk more about what's happening in America.
I mean, honestly, I want to take a step back before we get to that, because again, this only, you know, became our reality. What, it happened 3 days ago. I just found out about this yesterday. Okay. And Ashley, because you're right, it is so important to be the gatekeeper of your reality and the gatekeeper of your perception, and to, you know, hold your own auric field and not let outside events and outside sources penetrate your reality if that's just not the reality you're having. At the same time, though, I think we are here having this experience not only for ourselves but for other people as well. And it's not saying I'm putting the blinders on and I'm living in my my bubble. We still have to be aware of what's going on in the world. I personally do not watch the news. I think that's why I was a little bit behind finding out what happened. I found out through social media, I think via Facebook. But yeah, I don't want, yeah, I just, yeah, I love what you said. We need to have, you know, we need to protect our auric field. We don't need to let, because obviously there's a lot of fake news out there. And so a lot of people are being triggered right now. Okay. But you have to understand, people who are being triggered are also living on a three-dimensional plane. Once you can kind of look at what's going on and who kind of is propaganding these things to happen, we become aware of them, because we are meant to attack these social injustices collectively. So we're having singular experiences, but we also are having a collective experience. And the importance of our collective experience that we're sharing is we need to become aware of what is collectively going on so we can collectively make everyone's experience as okay as we can be. So,
and
yeah.
I wanna intersect in there because there's something that's gonna happen, and I know it's gonna happen because there's gonna be a split, okay? And I can see this split very clear today. And the reason why I'm saying this between what she said is because if you aren't familiar with a lot of the stuff that we say or jargon, please in the comments be like, what the hell is she talking about, third degree level? And I really want to talk about that level, okay? So that third degree level is like a war between
third dimensional
level is like a war between races that doesn't really exist, because it's gonna be, the war is not gonna be whose side are you on because of your race. The war is gonna be do you really know the truth to who you should be fighting? That's gonna be the war. And what I mean when I say that is that today Young Pharaoh had a video, and Nigel will, you know, discuss this when she's ready, but he had a video and he had people, African American people, who were rioting, okay? But they weren't rioting, they were protesting. They were protesting. And then someone came that was in a full body suit that was representing the police or CIA or whomever they were, and they bombed things and lit them on fire. So that when the news got there, it looked like they were doing that when they didn't.
Wait,
So
Ashley, I want to tell this story in order because I don't want people to think we're
well,
not.
I'm not gonna get into that story. I'm just saying that my point to that is the split is going to be, do you know the truth about who you're standing up for that was your former president? Or are you standing up for what you thought he was standing for and you didn't even know he was standing for that? And I believe that on social media, it's happening right now. People are saying, oh, this is a race war. You need to get it. Da, da, da. But it's not.
No, people aren't saying that right now, Ashley. People aren't actually saying that. People are clearly, finally, for the first time, coming together. White people and black people are finally coming together. Like, we actually can see each other clearly for the first time. So we're finally getting it. Like, it's finally making sense. Like, oh, they're really having an issue. Oh, this is really a problem. They can finally see it now. But again, what you're saying about this divide, though, now that we can collectively understand that we're not each other's enemies, here goes the divide. Now we can understand, oh, okay, who's really in control? Who's really making us think that we have a problem with each other? Yeah, but we're not looking at each other right now. Now, finally, people are like, oh, they're having a problem. Let me use my voice. Let me use my platform to say, we get it. Let me help with this problem because we get it now. That's what, like, I think my white friends using their Facebook to be like, no, this is for the first time in forever. I'm like, what, Jamie? You have an opinion on this? What, Sarah? You think this is wrong, Sarah? Okay, repost. And I let them know. Thank you. Like, we need more allies. Thank you. Because when they can finally acknowledge that we have a problem, now, like you said, we can start, going after who's really the problem.
Right. Well, that's awesome. I'm really glad because
that's why it's important for you to not have your head in the sand, Ashley. Like,
well, I'm gonna say this. I'm not saying that I have my head in the sand. What I am saying is that right now for me, I was in a place where I was in a drought for inspiration, which is just not something that happens for me often. I normally can always tap into a zone or a frequency where I have creation and I have all this stuff and I just did it. You know what I mean? And I really needed to just step back because when I have that kind of block where I'm not doing tarot, I'm not doing oracle, and Naja knows this. I think both of us were falling in loops of this each other as well. But I believe Naja fell into the loop of just like, okay, I'm going to learn more information. But I didn't fall into that loop. I wasn't trying to take in any information. Naja knows
she go in waves.
Right.
Like, sometimes we want to learn more and sometimes we don't. Like, we just need to pause and stew on the information we know and, like, understand it and put it to work, right?
At that time, I just I didn't want to hear about another African American. I have to be honest. I just didn't want to hear. I knew something happened because it's a lot of stuff on social media. So I started to stay off of social media as well. But I didn't want to see anything that was going to hurt my heart. It's kind of like when you see something that's scary and you jump. It doesn't matter that it's not real or it's a movie, but you still get that. When you hear a story and you have a child and you're like, oh shit, like what the fuck that happened to my kid? Your heart drops. I didn't want to feel that because that is a frequency in itself. And I feel like even though you're walking down this path to get into this frequency of truth, sometimes we get caught up in the wrath of the path and you go down the wrong damn road for a really long time. And then you're like, hold on, let me get myself back together. But I do have to remember that Naja is right. This is the Great Awakening. So the way that we solve all of these problems right now in this time is going to be colossal. Yeah.
And that's what I want people to understand. It's two parts to it. So there's like this deep state, dark cabal. Okay, I don't want to say triggering words, but there's a dark agenda, okay, that is being played, and that agenda also is in control of the media, news, celebrities, all of that, right? And then there's another side where it's people waking up and realizing that they've been controlled, been in this system, you know, that only works because it feeds whatever agenda they have going on. So people are waking up and understanding that, you know, something's up, you know, and that's why we need triggers, because triggers make us realize there's something wrong, there's something going on, whether it's, you know, something going wrong in the news, another Black person being killed. Like, yeah, it hurts our hearts, but we're being triggered for a reason. And sometimes we don't want to deal with why we're being triggered, but at the end of the day, we have to ask ourselves, why am I being triggered? Oh, I'm being triggered because this isn't right, this shit is not right, right? And then when we're like, oh, okay, this isn't right, well, how can I fix the problem? Oh, I can't fix the problem by myself. Okay, how can we fix the problem? You know, so we have to understand, yes, these people want us to be triggered for a reason, so we can act out and riot and protest and be who they want to depict us to be. But also, we're personally being triggered because we are coming awake to the fact that, no, this isn't okay. No, these people aren't better than me, and they don't have the right to do what they want to me. So we have to understand, triggers make us grow as a society, as a people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We have to be triggered so we can grow.
I want to hint on some. Can you see the questions at the bottom?
Yeah, let me see.
Okay, so I want to address a couple of them. Okay, so someone asks, like, you know, does viewing negative content bring down your vibration? And I really want to say that. And okay, wait, before you say yes, it does, I want to also say this. When you view negative content, it is something that you have to do. It's just like the first time you ride a bike and you're riding it with no training wheels and you fall down. You just have to. You don't understand the
because
gravity of
polarity,
it.
it helps you to understand. Ooh,
Right.
I like that.
So you have to keep taking in the hard hits in the beginning, because I want to tie this in to Mia talking about the Great Awakening. When my Great Awakening occurred, it was a straight blow to my dome. Okay, they basically, when I had a Great Awakening, it was Barack Obama is the first gay president. It was Michelle is a man. I was like, bitch, that's crazy. It was they're eating kids. Okay, it was sex trafficking 101. It was
Careful,
so
I
many
don't want
things.
to trigger our
Okay,
lives.
yeah, I'm
But
sorry.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, but
So
talk about it. But let's
okay,
not
so
trigger our
the
lives. Let's talk about
information
it.
that I was taking in when the Great Awakening was happening, the news was a lie. All these different things was a lie. This Great Awakening, greetings, greetings, greetings. This Great Awakening is you. Oh gosh, sorry. I keep pushing the button. This Great Awakening is you awakening. So for the longest, you guys have been like, what's the Great Awakening? This is what exactly is happening. Everyone is being divided into people who believe that Barack Obama was the first.
No, it's not even necessary. Okay, so there's a political awakening, but then there's also just coming into realizing, what is life? Why are we here? Like the political thing. Okay, this is what young girl says. Politics is so white people celebrities, right? So yeah, that's one stage, that's one awakening, but that's not the only awakening. People are waking up to what it means to be alive and have ancestors and have feelings, and your spirit never dies and your body dies, but you can be wherever, and they can be in other worlds, and they can, you know, the awakening is waking up to everything that there is in, not in life, but in existence. You know, where does our soul go when we die? People are finally caring about that. Oh, you go to heaven or hell. Like, that story, it doesn't suffice anymore. What's really going on? The Great Awakening is people figuring out what's really going on. Oh, I can't trust my government. Why? What's really going on? I can't trust these politicians. Why? What's really going on? I can't trust the food I'm eating. Why? What's really going on? I can't trust the food I'm drinking or the water I'm drinking. Why? What's really going on? Okay, why can't I be outside in the sunlight? Why are they telling me it's dangerous to be in the sun? What's really going on? Right? Like, the Great Awakening is finally questioning the things that they have given us at school. Learn all this information. Learn what this is. Learn what that is. When have you guys ever used any of the information that you learned in high school? The Great Awakening is realizing that we've been institutionalized for what? What's really going on?
Okay, now preaching, Nigel.
I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. Well, that is what the Great Awakening is, and I do want to address that. You know, negative content is something that you should do in the beginning to break that seal, but that seal is going to be broken on many levels. So it's going to be a seal on everything that you thought you knew to hold deal to. If you're a Christian, this is breaking the seal. That person that you call God might be Lucifer.
That's
The
a
seal.
scary one to break through, because can you remember? Well, that was like the first seal for us. We were like, what? We don't have a religion. What?
This is an abomination.
Am I
going to take my Jesus from me?
going to get in trouble for denouncing my Christianity?
Yeah, it was rough.
Like, some people are really quaking in their boots.
Yeah, I mean,
what are they going to do?
I can understand that, because coming to the realization that there's nobody outside of yourself and you're making this stuff happen is something that you're going to have an awakening to. So everyone's awakening is going to be different, and it's going to be harder for everyone, but it's something that has to happen, just like when you ride your bike and you fall off, because once you do that, you're going to be a pro. You're going to be zooming on that bike like it ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be speeding and racing with your friends, and that one day is going to be like nothing, you know what I mean, in the future. So great question. The awakening was a great question, and the vibrations was a great question. Now, what I want to say about negative content. Now, I went down negative content one time, too many, with Nigel, and Nigel was like, Ashley,
but
Ashley,
no,
hold on, Ashley.
Yeah.
Nigel was like, you need to come on back, bitch. Okay, because going down those negative roads can lead you to depression. It can lead you to like, well, we have no win, or there's no outcome, all this stuff, and we're powerless, and that's just not true. So I really, really want to stress the fact that even though you are searching for knowledge, when it gets too heavy, when it gets to be like, what the fuck, like, you know what I mean, step the fuck back and go laugh, go watch a comedy, go watch Chris Rock, go do something, because if you don't, that will feed the monster that is already feeding off of you of lack of knowledge. Okay, so I really love all of the people that follow me, listen to me, that's on my page, and this is something I'm sharing with you guys because I went down the road and it got crazy. I went crazy almost. So, you know, wheel yourself back in. Okay.
And so a really great way to apply this is like what we do. We'll watch a few videos that will teach us something new. We'll stew on it for a little bit. Once we get it and we understand it, and then we'll start learning new things. To just try and consume as much as you can in the very beginning, which is what a lot of people do when you first find, out these things. You're like, oh my God, I need to see everything at once. No, because like you said, there's a lot. So you take bits and pieces, and when you're ready to educate yourself, you just start doing research. And
you guys are gonna have to go sideways because I gotta charge my phone.
No, you're upright.
I know because I'm holding it, but in a minute I'm gonna have to. Okay. We are byproducts of the creator. So basically, if you really want to take this conversation there, this is a good place, because me and Nigel actually were just talking about this, and she actually learned some really good information that she could talk about as well. So we are consciousness. And I'm going to break this down because it's necessary, and you guys need to really understand what this is so that you can understand what God is. Because a lot of people feel like, okay, well, you're not telling me about Jesus. You're not telling me about the cross. What is all that about?
So you're not telling me about the cross.
I mean, some people need something to replace that information with. You see what I'm saying? Because there was something there all this time.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. You might feel like there's something missing.
Right. You might feel like that. So what it is that you are an avatar. Okay, Avatar was about us because you are an avatar, and a consciousness goes inside of an avatar, just like your soul helps you operate, helps you move around, help you do all of these things. And consciousness, the source, is God. So God has multiple experiences through all of us, by a roach, by a lizard. All of that is God consciousness. That's whatever is in them to make them alive. And when they die, they are still here. They just go right back to the dirt. As we go right back to dirt. So when we die, we go right back to consciousness, and then we remember those contracts that we made to come into this body to lift the vibration of the planet. We already know when we were going to exit. We already know all the friends we're going to have, the kid we're going to have, the man we're going to marry, the woman we're going to marry, all the things that we did, all the things that we did in this lifetime. We know once we return to God consciousness. Now, not only do you return to God's consciousness, girl, I know they're not putting on no fireworks. Let me see if they got some fireworks.
It's almost the 4th of July. Oh my God, Ashley, you were going somewhere. Wait.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't
She's
see it.
so funny.
Okay.
But yeah, I love what you were saying. We're all here to live a different expression of the divine or the creator. That's why there's everybody here, and we're all living in different experiences, and we all choose different paths because we are meant to all live different. You know, we're all different expressions of the creator. God wanted to know what it was like to be Ashley, to be Nija, to be everybody on this live, and therefore everyone has their own little life, and they have it, and they make their own decisions because they want to know what life would be like if they did X, Y, and Z.
And that is why a lot of you guys are like, how are you saying, I'm sorry, I got so excited I opened this whole door and this door got to go close back. A lot of you guys are like, okay, well, you guys are talking about this manifestation hobo jumbo, but the reason why that's really just really magic is because you got consciousness. You just God in a body. That's Ashley or whoever this on this slide. That's Brandon. That's Mia. That's Jamal's. That's Neat. That's Nija. Okay, so because of that, anything you put extra thought to, so if you put extra thought to being broke every paycheck, whatever the fuck it is, you're going to use your God conscious power because it's in you. It's in your mind. It's everything that makes you blink. And it's going to make sure that it's like, oh, okay, God is telling me to be broke. So let me just keep on being broke. And because the powers that be put these into your school systems, they put it into your grandparents, they put it into your program. So it was kind of like in your DNA. That's how bad or generationally they've been fucking around with human DNA. Okay. To the point where we have to have these jolted experiences to lift consciousness back to its normal, to restore it. So jolted experiences is exactly what's happening with this black man doing these riots. Jolted experiences when you're going to start seeing these drastic, nasty videos of these politicians that you thought that you could, you know, voting on to do good things, but you're going to be like, oh my God, and these drastic things are going to catapult you to understanding like maybe I don't really know what the fuck is going on, and that's gonna open up a door of why. Okay, and you want to be in the why area because why is where God is, you know what I mean? Hold on, sorry, I'm trying to find somewhere I can speak y'all without echoing.
No, that was a perfect explanation. And then another thing that we were stewing over the other day is why would we choose Earth as the playing field to have all these experiences? And we kind of came to the conclusion, or I kind of came to the conclusion when I was thinking about it, that we choose Earth because it's the heaviest density. You can experience the most here, right? You experience the most polarity, right? So it's like on one plane, you might only experience feeling. On one plane, you might only experience sound. On one plane, you know, you don't know. So on this plane on Earth, we experience so many things, and we all affect each other, the things that we experience. So that's why we chose Earth, because we can learn the most here. We can make the most impact here, you know, and what happens here affects other places. And that's why we chose to be here, to make right whatever needs to be righted. So, yeah.
Am I echoing?
No, not to me.
Okay. Ooh, this is phone. Is finna die.
Wait, let me charge it because I'm
it's just crazy. Every time I touch. All right.
The other day, or not even the other day, when we were talking about like money and how people need money for certain experiences, can we talk about that? I mean, like, whenever we're together, we're gonna do an official breakdown of like all these topics that we're kind of just throwing at the wall, but I feel like we have been learning a lot since we've kind of have been on a hiatus. I know you haven't been consuming new content, but I think you still have been learning a lot.
Yeah, so I want to talk about that. Like, okay, so some people, if you're on YouTube or if you're on YouTube binging or whatever, you'll be saying like, you might hear people saying you might receive a download. You're like, well, what the fuck is a download? Like, I never received that before. I want to go into depth about what a download is, like Nigel just said.
Yeah.
So Nigel just basically said, you know, Ashley, I know you haven't been,
thank you, Skillshare.
I know you haven't been reading or stimulating your brain in any kind of way, because that's
No, I did not say that, Ashley.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But what I want to say is that even though you don't know, or you're not tuned in into the news or CNN, your body knows what's going on, and you receive downloads, just like when I used to talk to you about frequency, and how if you listen to a song, the song is booed up. All of the people who sing in booed up, who's connected to that string, is going to give you downloads of feeling like you're by yourself, or you're, you know, this, or you're doing that. So even though I might not be connected to social media or anything like that, as this stuff was going on, what I was doing daily, which I do feel like I should explain to you guys, is sitting out in the sun for an hour. And every time I did it with Nija, we just received ridiculous downloads. Like, we started comprehending a lot of information while we were sitting in the sun. And every single time we were both directly in the sun. That I can remember. And I was saying that to say, I think Nigel watched a video with Young Pharaoh, and he was talking about money. And Nigel was on this serious binge, and I was like, I rebuke this binge. And she kept saying, what if they're giving us all of this money, and the money is going to equal up to a vaccine, and da-da-da. And I was like,
no, Ashley, you got to tell it right.
That is what you were saying.
You got to tell it right.
That's what you kept saying, girl. And I was like, I rebuke it.
This is what I'm trying to say with the money situation. We do not own this currency. It is a byproduct of
God
reality
that
has been created, and we use it to have different experiences, and that's the purpose of, you know, having currency. So we put a value on money, the physical paper, as opposed to putting value in the person who's doing the service for you. And that's the only thing I was saying. It's important to remember that money doesn't have a value. It's the service. Oh, can you fix my phone for me? I will pay you X amount of dollars to fix my phone. I'm not giving you money for the sake of the money. I'm giving you the money in exchange for a service that's done for me. So I think it's important for us to get back down to the root of what money is, and don't let it use it to control you anymore. And I'm not saying you, Ashley, but just the population in general, especially the African community, the Black community, the brown community. You know, they've been using money to enslave our consciousness for a very long time. And thanks to being, you know, to waking up, we now know this, but some people haven't made that jump yet. You know, understanding the importance that we're putting on money as opposed to what we're asking people to do in exchange for it.
And I mean, I would agree with that. I just feel like I like money, you know, and I love it, and I don't have no problem with all of the money in the world coming to me at this exact moment. And
I think that's fine when we're living in this reality. When we're not on this reality, it won't matter to us anymore.
Yeah, and I think that Earth plane is the material plane where money matters. I think on other consciousness, other galaxies, as we rise to 5, 6, and 70, no, the hell it's not. It's not. We don't even talk. We use our telepathic abilities and you know, all of that. But for me, on this low density, and let me say this too, I want to just say this, you know, we reincarnate, we die, we come back, we die, we have multiple experiences. I'm sorry guys, we really just do. And within saying all these multiple experiences, there are a time when you leave this and you're like, you know what, I don't really feel like getting no yacht, I don't want to ride around in a Lamborghini no more. All that material energy is out of me. You know, I want to be an angel now, or I want to do something else. I want to come back and help other people on my bloodline get to become an angel. Okay, so for me and my what's wrong?
You said nothing. That was funny. You want to help someone become an angel.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that's one of the God consciousness. You know what I mean? Because we have
eventually you
ancestors.
want to be an angel.
Eventually you
Eventually you
want to
want
go
to be an
back to source.
ancestor.
Like,
Yep.
once you go
Eventually
back
you
to
want to go
God,
back to God consciousness. And
yeah.
that's the purpose of it all. Something that's shattering to some people is that, oh, when you die, you just go to heaven or hell. No, when you die, you might want to be an ancestor. You might want to be a guide. You might want to be an angel. You might want to be, you know, you don't know. You're going back to different consciousness. This is just a denser consciousness. Yeah.
And I want to say this too. Okay, a lot of people come to me with this question. Well, why the hell it got people out here that's raping people? Why are there people who do bad things? Like, what about those people? They got God consciousness too. And I'm sorry, y'all, they do.
You've
It's
got to
God.
experience everything.
Yeah, it's God's consciousness at the lowest form of God's consciousness. And as that
Yeah.
person reincarnates over and over and over, it gets the opportunity to make better and better and better and better and better and better decisions for it to raise its consciousness. Okay. So I know that sounds really bad. I mean, for a lot of people who went through trauma and all these different things, but you signed up unconsciously to go through those particular traumas. And a lot of people are like, what? I signed up to be raped. I signed up to do this. I signed up to do this. But you keep identifying with Ashley, but Ashley is just an avatar for God's consciousness. Okay. So it's like, I know I'm having an experience, and if you cut me, I do bleed and it does hurt. But in all actuality, I'm just loaning this body. I hope you guys can really get what I'm saying. I'm just borrowing this body because if something does happen to me that's awful and traumatic that I can't live through, I go back to God's consciousness where I'm safe and secure. You know, in this physical plane of 3D, they give you this perception that this plane is, you know, the hell, and when you die you go to the heaven. You know what I mean? But at the same time, every time you go to sleep, you go to the heaven. You return back to God's consciousness. Okay, so that's how you get recharged. That's how you get rebooted. And like Nigel was saying with the fake food, some of that food fucks up that nighttime sleep consciousness back with the source. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I didn't want to get too deep on you guys, but I did want you to understand that why negative things happen to people. Because me and Nigel was talking about this particular young man who had this issue and he died from this and everything. But in his soul contract, he said, I'm going to be the change to spark up the awakening. And he was the person, even though it's sad to us because we are receiving it in a 3D dimension, 3D dimension. He was the person to be the leader, just like Martin Luther
To
King,
spark
whoever else.
change.
Right.
Because these things have to change consciously. We all have to agree to whatever change needs to be made. We all consciously have to agree. So these bad, negative things that happen in our society are happening to trigger something in us to be like, oh no, this isn't right. Or, oh yes, this is right. And whenever it triggers that for us, we then as a collective have the opportunity to agree upon a new reality. So that's really the war here. The mental warfare that's really going on here is they want you to agree upon a story that you don't have to agree upon. You can agree upon a story that's true to you. And a lot of people have been suppressed, and we don't know how to tap into our subconscious. We don't know how to tap into, you know, the optimal timeline, the optimal timeline to where everything is okay and everyone's happy and living in harmony. So that's really the warfare here, or the war that's going on here. They want you to believe the worst and think the worst, because having our energy, our vibration at that low frequency or that low density fuels whatever agenda they're trying to push. They're just another form of entities that are trying to, you know, sway the direction in which the consciousness goes, but they don't have to win. We can choose another reality. We can all choose a timeline.
And I also want you guys to understand that multiple timelines are being played out right now. It is a timeline where there's there's a timeline where there's mandatory vaccines. There's a timeline where we out here and we just kumbaya in it. There's a timeline where everybody's rich. There's a timeline where this is the apocalypse. It's a timeline. It's a timeline for every single one. And the way that I'm saying that to best way describe it, I think Nigel said it one day, like traveling the future. Like, okay.
Time traveling.
Time traveling. That's how
This is what time traveling really is. We think it's shooting out into space, but really it's how fast the soul or the consciousness experiences something.
And the way that she brought this to my attention that day is that she is in Virginia, as you guys know, and I am in Atlanta. And Atlanta was one of the first cities to be like, oh, it's on a poppin' Greg Street. Look, where you at?
F it up.
Right, okay. So with all of that being said, you know, for everyone else, you're looking on my timeline, my personal timeline, you're like, oh, damn, Ashley at a pool party, Ashley's just kicking the shit, she's just doing the stuff. And at the end of the day, everyone else is still stand still. They're just at home. They're just doing all this stuff. And Atlanta has already advanced. All of our stores have opened up. Everything is just back to normal here.
This is time travel, and people don't get it because consciously and collectively in other places like in Virginia where I'm at, we still have agreed upon no lockdown's necessary, nope, we need to be on lockdown. And then consciously in where Ashley is, Atlanta, Georgia, they consciously collectively has said no, we're good, we don't need to be on lockdown. This is what time travel really is. Other people living a different experience faster than others. We're still living the same experience, only some of us live it faster than others.
Exactly. So
through conscious or through collective agreement.
Right, through collective agreement. So if collectively everyone in your congregation believes this particular thing,
that's what it is.
It fuels it. And it doesn't matter if it's a lie, y'all. It doesn't. Yep. And I know that's the hardest thing because you're like, well, I believe in goodness. I believe in the goodness. Yeah, you do. But your goodness is being manipulated. Your goodness is the core soul of who you are. So it doesn't matter. A belief is really powerful because it could be a goddamn lie and it could be true. And it could be
it's a belief.
But so and the belief is all you need.
In your mind, it's real. And when things are real in people's minds, that's all it needs to be to manifest in the physical. Because that's the way the world works. Whatever we can think and perceive is what can manifest.
And I really want you to understand that there are solutions to all of this, okay? So I don't want to be on here just telling y'all this because you're like, okay, well, we don't, we this, we that. You know, what
do we do with this information?
Repetition. You know, you need to make sure that you're opening your mind to listen to everybody's view. You don't have to agree with everybody, but it's time for you to stop being in this one particular box. I'm not telling you to get over here in my box. I'm telling you to listen to everybody. Listen to everybody's box and have your own perspective because, you know, the more money that you accumulate, the more money you bring to you, the more experiences you can have. You're around different crowds of people that think differently and grow differently. And that is a good thing, okay?
Yeah.
And I really want you guys to understand that even though everything is going on, it's not bad. You can sit down for 20 minutes and just think about all the happy, good thoughts that you can, and then send that to every kid that is going through human trafficking. Just do those little times of meditation are good ways to lift your vibration up. Another way to help those kids or people that are outside of your reach or people that are angry, be happy. Don't be angry yourself. You know, find something that you want to do and make it lift your the fastest way is creativity. Okay, the fastest way is creativity. And if you don't have nothing that's creative, the super fastest way is to go directly into the sun and stay there. Okay?
And get them downloads.
And get those downloads. Okay, because the sun is really what is really giving you life force energy. If the sun dies, every damn thing dies. And I think we don't pay a lot of attention to that because that was a strategic plan too, to keep you locked in your house and your four walls, not taking any sunlight, scared to touch people and talk to people and communicate with people. All of these were tactics. You know, you're thinking like, this is an awful disease. And now, where the fuck is the COVID-19? I haven't seen that one person die. What was like 40,000 people die of COVID every day? You know what I mean? And now I don't see anything. All I hear is people just bickering. And that's why I thought it was a race war. Because, I mean, I heard my mom and my dad arguing. I thought it was just about race.
No,
but yeah. So like I said, before all of this stuff even occurred, before COVID came, before the lockdown, it was told to me and Nija that there are going to be a series of events. I mean, they're not even going to give you enough time to heal from the last event. Right after this one happens, it's going to be another one right there.
When 2020 started, bam, Kobe died. Then bam, COVID. Then bam, shooting. Like bam,
And we're gonna be back on
go
here again when
You're
the other
gonna go
bam comes
through
through.
it.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna be back here again when the other BAMs come, and I'm not saying that every celebrity is a part of the agenda, but you're in for a rude awakening if you like the celebrities.
Ooh, you're in for such a rude awakening. Everybody who is on television and we think, oh, I love them so much, I grew up with them, they're a part of my family. Oh no. These people are doing diabolical things behind the scenes, and it's all about to come to the light, and we're going to be like, oh, why were these people allowed to be on our television screen? How do we allow them to be on our television screen?
Yeah, it's going to be bad. I mean, it's not going to be horrible, but it's just going to be some news that we really got to take in. And I think for a lot of people in the African American community, the hardest thing is going to take in is that Barack Obama was our first gay president, and Michelle is our first, transgender first lady. And it's I'm not trying to be disrespectful, y'all. Y'all know I'm not. I didn't want to. I don't want to believe in this.
They don't want to hear that.
I didn't want to believe it. And then young Pharaoh comes on here and what does he say? He give me that knowledge to crack my back. And he goes and he talks about, can you hear me?
Please look it up, do your research. Another thing, when you're trying to research things, you might not always be able to get to where you're looking for, because our media is highly censored and we don't really believe that, but it is. So there's something called the deep web, and that's really where most of this information is. Because this just can't be on regular schmegular for everybody to, And another thing you guys can research, it's literally just called being a whistleblower. So people who are like, who are whistleblowers who dedicate their entire life to finding, or what is deemed as conspiracies, what the government calls conspiracies, because they don't want to acknowledge that these things could be true. People are what they call whistleblowers, who sometimes do end up dying because of the things that they share. It being so explicit and so against what people or what the agenda is, they're like trying to keep that under wraps. But yeah, you can do your research.
You can.
Just,
I do want to talk about some other things since you are already on this scary behind path. Anyway, just speaking, because I never really go live on this particular page. We are having something that spiritual people say is called the Great Awakening. Okay. And what the Great Awakening is you're being awakened to, it's an infinite number of information. Okay. And the reason why it's an infinite number of information is because whatever you hold dear to your belief, which is 1 billion, 2 billion, whatever billion amount of people, it's a different belief. And all of those beliefs are about to be broken. Okay. Which really means is that if you're a very Christian or religious based person, you're going to hear some true things that are going to bother you about things that you thought that you knew that is not accurate. Okay. Now, this is what an awakening is. So we are already awakened to the fact that there is police brutality against African American males and African American females and just African American people, period. Okay. And because of history continuing to kill people, Trayvon Martin, every single person that has came before us, this particular man is going to be a part of a huge awakening to change this violence against our copper people, our carbon people, our melanin people. Okay. And he is like the Malcolm X, because we don't know the real truth about Martin Luther King and it's not good, but I'm not here to say that. Okay. So the point,
I'm ready. My people are ready to know.
Right. Okay. So,
our
and I know
Martin wasn't our friend.
Well, Martin was portrayed as a really great person in history, but in actuality, he was a part of the deep state. He was a part of the deep state. And if you guys don't know,
by them people.
Yeah, that aren't on our side and that is not for African American people. And that's going to be a lot of information to take in for a lot of people, because that is an awakening for someone to know that you went to school for so many years and every single month they made sure that you knew this one person. They didn't care about no other
thinking people. He was the savior of the black people,
right? And then
little did we know
he was not. Okay. So all of that is a lot to take in, and that's really what the awakening is. It means awakening you of your spirituality, who you are, what powers you really do possess that you didn't know that you have, and how you're using your powers in reverse to make you in poverty, make you less than, make you not worthy of, and how it was put on every race, didn't matter what it was, generationally. It was a generational plan, and they executed it very well. But now it's about to be broken with the Great Awakening, okay? And the Great Awakening is you waking up, paying attention to the information, and now moving differently, not going and looking to the other race to say, hey, I want these people to die, I want this person to die, but say, hey, no, we need to band together. It's not a race war. We need to figure out who the problem is and then take them out. Because if they out, well, you can still be cool with Bob. You can still, play golf with Kate. Or you can do whatever you want. Kate ain't the one. She just white.
She's not the one.
Right. Okay, she's not the one doing it. And then going down that road to find out who the one is, and finding out there could be like alien beings or reptilian beings, inside of people's bodies. It's a lot if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but
this
is what the great.
Yeah, the awakening is people coming to certain realizations that things that we've been taught and indoctrinated to learn, isn't, not only is it not the only way, but it's not even truth. It's not even factual. Our entire way of living, kind of has been a lie. So it's coming aware to, there are laws of the universe, and there are, we all have consciousness. We are just avatars in these bodies, here to have an experience. And then when we're done having that experience, our consciousness goes on. Like she said, reincarnation is a thing. A part of the awakening is finding out about these things, that there's more.
Yeah, and that we don't really need to be sad when someone dies, which is, I know that sounds crazy, but we don't. We need to be happy, and we don't need to be like depressed because we're holding their soul back from basically moving to the next level. When you can't release them, you're always thinking about them, you're crying and you're mourning over them. Their spirit is lingering on this plane because they feel like they can't go because you're not ready and you holding on to them. And if you knew that you were trapping them at this plane, which was not good for them, you wouldn't do that. You would just let them go. But because unconsciously you don't know that, you know what I mean, you're doing that. And I don't know if I had to say that to somebody that's on here, but anyone who has passed on, release them, because we make these contracts. And I know it's going to maybe be difficult for you to hear, but I like repetition. I like to say the same things over and over, so when you hear it again, it's not foreign to your ears.
Yeah.
When we reincarnate here, we make contracts, and we select the people we're going to marry. We select the people we're going to have kids with. We select all of that. Look at her on Young Pharaoh's page. We
keeping up.
Yeah. We select all of that. We select who we're going to have soul contracts with. And you really have to understand that we forget as we go through that canal of coming into this universe. We forget, and that's a part of the deal that we make with God consciousness. We're going to do it from the backs of the unknown, which is going to be like right.
And the memory kind of comes back to us sometimes. Like we'll start to remember, oh yeah, that's how things are. We kind of start to slowly remember, but that's kind of the game that we're playing here. We're all kind of starting from scratch, and we're all making something different. We're all creating something different. When I say making something different, I'm talking about our lives. We all choose different paths. We're all here to create something different. Everything that we desire and want to create, it's all different. Everyone's different, and we have those desires because we're meant to fulfill those things, because God consciousness wants to experience life, through you, as you.
I truly think that COVID is a great example of that, because there were so many consciousness, which are God's consciousness, because we are avatars, that was stuck in a job that wasn't creating, that wasn't doing so many things.
Yeah,
and God just
that's the trap.
Even though it seemed like COVID was such a bad thing, he was just like, I'm tired of all of you guys doing this. It's time for you to shift your attention to what I want. And everything was shut down at a standstill. The only bad thing that I think is that most people didn't go outside to get direct sunlight during that time so they can receive these downloads to understand more, you know?
Yeah,
But
definitely.
I truly believe that, you know, now that we're on pause and we're going back, you're going to realize, or everyone is taking this break from working and all this stuff. It's not the move. And you're going to have this urge to create, or this urge to, you know, be an entrepreneur. And I think you all should walk into that thing, you know, whatever it is. It's time for you to let go of the fear, because the fear is going to be there, and just walk into it, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I think that was a big trick or trap of the old world was they're harvesting our energy, are harvesting our life force, using our life force and our will and us being alive and able to do things to to create for other people. But we still have dreams and we still have desires and we still have things that we want to do. And the trap was taking up all your time and all your energy at, you know, in these four walls, and you call it work, and you think you have to be there or you're not going to get paid unless you are there exchanging your life force for minimum wage. You know, that's the ultimate slavery, and we kind of all agreed to it, you know, in a way, by agreeing to be a part of that construct. So a part of the awakening is realizing that you get to choose whatever it is that you decide that you want to do, you know. And it's not even, oh, I'm going to do this because it makes the most money, or I'm going to do this because it's people are most successful doing this, or I'm going to do this because everybody says that this is the thing to do. It's really more so learning how to move intuitively and finding things that you like to do and you like to create, and bringing it forth, you know, giving yourself a chance to create whatever it is that you feel that you need to create or that you need to experience. You have to allow yourself to do that, because if you don't, we say you will be recycled. And what does that mean? It means you're going to have to do this again, experience this again, because something in your soul, you know, wants that. So if you in this avatar cannot fulfill that, you know, maybe you can try again, and the odds will be shuffled, and you know, you'll get a new body, you'll get a new family, new circumstances, and you'll still have the same desire in your heart, and you'll try again, you know. So I think that's what's most important, is to right now ask yourself, what is it that you're trying to experience, what is that you're here to experience, and allow yourself to.
And I really believe that, you know, as you go through this, you know, a lot of people on my page are like, oh, you know, actually, I want to write a book, or I want to do this, or I want to start this, or I want an online store, but I just don't know how to do it. Stop talking about you don't know how to do it, okay? Granted, it is wise to ask counsel for help, especially if you know someone, as myself or Niger or whomever you know, that has done it. But at the end of the day, what really seals the deal and gets you where you need to be is consistency. So it does not matter if you're making sales on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, and you're like, well, I done did all this stuff and I didn't make any sales, and I didn't do this, I didn't do that. There was a time where Target didn't. There was a time where IBM didn't. There was a time where Facebook didn't. It was a time where all that stuff, and now they're multi-billion companies, billion-dollar companies, because of consistency. So if you never start, you never are in the game. Okay, I have been doing stuff this whole time, and so many friends are like, oh my God, I see you on Instagram, I'm so proud of you. But it's years after years of me programming you to tell you, this is what I do, this is what I do. If I never see you doing that, if you're never advocating for yourself, that means you always working for somebody. That means you're going to be always somebody's slave. And it's not because you want to be their slave, it's because you are so fearful to start.
You
You see,
haven't allowed yourself to create another way, or to find another way to give yourself what you want. You think that you have to depend on these outside sources to make a way for you. Society's really made us very dependent. You know, we think it's outside of us. The ideas are outside of us. I have to go somewhere. I have to work hard. I have to work here. I have to be there. I have to climb this ladder. But it's unlocking levels in yourself, not levels outside of yourself. So yeah.
I think at the end of it all, you got to understand that as you build the platform on all these social medias that everyone hates, loves to bash, I told Nigel we got to do a whole segment on social media because
Yes, and we will. We will. We're
yeah,
gonna do a video on all of it because I like
yeah,
each of these topics individually are
uncut.
so juicy.
I love social media. I might not use social media the correct way, but you know, if you look at my page and all my business pages, I just put on there what I love. And if you go on my page, it will exude my behavior. I really like my friends. They all look good. I like picking good friends. I do. You will see my
Yeah.
kid. I really like her too. She's kind of cute as well.
I like
Okay.
her too.
And that
She's cute.
okay. And then I like exquisite food because I take pictures of it. And anything that you like, it is designed from God's gene. So maybe you're the best person at it to advertise it. Maybe you're the best person at it to bring light to it. You cannot discredit yourself because I'm not Ashley. I'm God's consciousness. And that means that through all things, through Him, which is inside of me, I can do whatever I want because I'm not really Ashley. I'm really God. Okay. So, and you are
And that's
God.
why
We're
they say,
all
like, creating, it starts in the mind. You have to
right.
perceive it first. You have to see it first. Everything that we can physically see right now first happened in someone's mind. It was created in someone's mind, and the next step was writing it down. So if you ever want to apply this to your own life and you want to create something in your life or bring something into your life, you first start by visualizing it and seeing what you want and seeing that version of yourself, and then you write it down, because that's the first form of manifestation. That's the first step to bring it into reality.
Now, I really want to show you how you've been bringing your reality to yourself unconsciously, not knowing when you watch television. When you watch television and you're seeing all this shit on there, all this twerking, cucumber challenge. I don't know what you guys watch because I don't watch any of that. But you bring thoughts to you, you bring hoes to you, you bring people who have that same low vibration, cheaters to you, trifling people. If you watch all these shows, Atlanta Housewives, which I do watch, you bring drama to you. Every time the season comes, it seems like I have all this drama. I promise you not. And then when the season is gone and I'm not watching it, I have none of that drama. But it's because, like she said, it starts with your visual eye. So if you're taking in all of these things, that is what you're taking in. Just like when you watch football or basketball, you're watching it, and if that other team is not there, you're invoking spirits of negativity. Like, F you, da da da. It's a whole fight over these two different teams that ain't got shit to do with you in the first place, okay? But
It's
you
like
fight
giving
over it.
people a reason to feel flustered and to get upset.
Exactly.
Giving people a reason to be competitive.
Right. And you don't even know what real monster you're fueling. You don't even understand. Like, people who love sports, y'all don't even understand why it's canceled. It's canceled because it ain't good. Not because it's not canceled because
Can we talk about, there's something weird about it, and I noticed it when Tommy has it playing in the background. You just feel like you hear, like, there's a lot of talking, but it's like subconsciously, what are they saying? They're just saying random off the wall stuff, playing noise, the audience noise, and then the broadcasters saying off the wall stuff, that's kind of inappropriate, but kind of making it fit into
what's
sport,
happening.
making words perverted, so there's a lot happening, more than people think. They think they're just watching sports and it's fine and dandy, but there's a reason it was
Even on
created.
2K Live, I know you guys are like, what? She played 2K? But I used to play 2K Live too with one of my exes, and they play music from straight from off the radio while you playing, 2K Live. So it's like the music that they're playing is on a very low vibration, and it's putting all these images, all this stuff into your head through your ears because of frequency. And then visually, like I said with the shows, it's the same thing. So if you want to manifest abundance, penthouse, Ferraris, money, you need to go on YouTube and look at these manifestation things every single day. Because if every day you walking down the street and you live in a community that has a lot of crackheads or bums in it, you're just going to attract more of that because you see it every day. That's your normal stuff. Now, a lot of people are like, well, what about, Jay-Z or all these rapper stories? Okay, you might need to go and see what a force bond is, because some of these people were moved into a force bond where you making a bond with a low level entity for riches and stuff like that. It's not the same manifestation that you think it is. It's a totally different one, okay? And anybody can go and make these evil bonds with the devil. Anybody can go and do that for riches and sell their soul for eternity. But why would you want to do that when all you really got to do is learn how to use your God consciousness and just put the right things in your mind's eye? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
What
I
were you
think
going to
that's
say?
the big trick. People
Yeah.
think that they have to, they think they have to
Sell
make
their
these,
soul.
right, to experience it, because they haven't unlocked that part of them that's like, I can experience whatever I want. I can have whatever I want. Now, I would say it does make sense that sometimes we will only get, well, the way that they seem like people are only getting so far, they're not becoming more famous than they should be. Media is highly regulated. You know, the music industry is highly regulated. Hollywood is highly regulated. So, you know, you can still be successful, but just know we still need to, you know, we need to take that out, work on that, so people can, you know, really be successful.
And I do believe that people can be successful if they're on independent labels. You have people who are like, I think her name is Kanokio or Naki. I don't know. I'm not good with these people. But the girl, she's good. And she tried to get signed and she said she didn't want to get signed. And when she said no, that they couldn't manipulate her music, she just went independent. Okay, and we still hear her music if you know the truth. You know what I'm saying? And as we move into this new Aquarius era, that's what's going to be happening. The people that are true artists, they're going to rise, and the people who are false, they are about to be exposed.
Yep,
Okay,
yep. Exposed. Cardi B exposed. Nicki Minaj exposed. Lil
exposed,
Wayne exposed. All
exposed.
these
Chris
people
Brown
that we
exposed.
love exposed.
Yeah, they're about to be exposed. Everything that you know to be cool and hip, all of that stuff is about to be exposed. And I mean, as we hear the information, you just need to understand that you don't know what these people do behind doors, the closed doors, just like you don't know what I do behind closed doors. So if you find out, like, if there was a rumor going around that Chris Brown sucked dick, now that's not true. You never heard that because he never sucked nobody dick, right? But let's say it came out. Now, how did that rumor get formed? He must have done that to someone somewhere. You get what I'm saying? People don't just make random rumors up about people and they don't have any truth. Now, I'm not saying Chris Brown sucked dick, okay? I'm just saying that if it comes out that he did, don't be so hasty to be like, that ain't the damn truth, because don't nobody spread rumors about people that ain't true. When you know little Susie is the hoe, they'll be like, oh, you know they call you a hoe? She heard that before. I'm sure she did. She know what she be doing. You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
So, yeah.
even though you hear these rumors about people, don't be so quick to turn the other cheek. Start to look deeper into what's going on.
And some people aren't going to want to do the research and aren't going to want to know more, but you'll notice your peers will start sounding funny and start talking different and be on a whole other wave or a whole other frequency, because they decided to educate themselves, you know. And if you want to understand what they're talking about, you're going to have to get on that level or on that frequency. Educate yourself.
And and change yourself. And what I would say is, even if you don't get on the wagon, if you stay in the frequency that you are, what I will suggest is that it's going to be rocky for you, you know. And I'm not saying that it's going to be easy for you to take into all this information. It takes time. My awakening is still going on. It doesn't stop. You know, we're going to be waking up to more and more and more and more every single day. But what I would say is, don't be so caught up with of being so fearful of change when change is necessary. You don't want to have kids, son, little kings and little queens that are melanin, African American, scared to get pulled over by the police. We need this change. We need a lot of severe change, okay? And we don't need to be sitting here fearful of it because we find out somebody is gay or something is that. We just need to take control and stop trying to push the control and vote the control into people's hands, and take it into our own hands, and fix and heal our own communities, and do them by the little things, by getting up and saying hey to your fucking neighbor, instead of acting like, why the fuck you keep looking at me? Go say hey to him. He a human just like you, and y'all clearly are vibrating on the same frequency if you live in the same place, because you chose to live there too. You get what I'm saying? So you do have something in common with that person. I'm just saying you do. You know?
Yeah.
I did not understand why you were saying that, but now I get what I'm like, girl.
Yeah, because I don't even say, I don't say, and that one's the one I use for branding. I didn't want to say anything off the wall. That's the one that I like make money off of. I don't want to be like, this is not brand friendly content. We cannot collab with you any longer.
Nija, no, do you really think that's going to happen? Your company is not going to fall by you telling the truth. That can't happen.
I need to have separate entities because, again, for branding purposes,
I want to talk about this. Can we talk about this?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Because,
definitely.
okay, this page is my personal page, and I understand what Nija is saying, but I do feel like it's my obligation or it's my duty. Like, Nigel was on this super hard last week. Like, you need to get this information out. You know, these people need to know this stuff. And it's funny because weeks before that, I was like, Nigel, look at this. And she just was like, girl, okay, I'm going to look at it.
We go through waves through that. We both do.
But what I will say with Nija is that I lost my train of thought.
It's okay, girl.
Oh, what
is everyone back? Oh, okay, Mia's back.
What I was going to say was this. Because you shield that page so, and I mean, we're just talking, you know, because this is my personal page, so this is not a big deal. You shield that page from saying anything of truth. It's like you feel like if you contaminate the core of Nija, and the reason why I'm saying this, I'm going to explain that. Because you just don't want to diminish your brand, but this is your brand, and people, and I'm saying this as not Ashley, friends with Nija, boss girls, okay? I'm saying this as I was a follower of Nija, and if I could even see a glimpse of you even talking about this stuff after following you on all these other topics, it will make me even more connected to you. And I think that because you feel like, or you have this inclination that young Pharaoh's gonna get assassinated, you don't want, let me finish. You don't want to muddy up your platform with this same information that is the truth. And I don't know about that, Nigel. I'm just like, what you mean? Like, if you love those people, you got to tell them the truth. I mean, I'm going to say this. I love everybody on my live. I don't even know if there's some people who actually know me or not, but all my friends think I'm fucking crazy, bro. They be like, you cute, but, you know, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I think if I was saying these things, like, on my personal page, I think it'd be fine. I think if I was saying it on, you know, I just think that Nija Sim, that's not what I created it for. I created it for fashion, for style, for photography, for lifestyle. I think it's a different part of me. It's a different side of me, and I still want to express it, and I still want to share knowledge, but it's just not what I created that for. It's like if you were on Ty's World and you started talking about this stuff.
Oh, I can't talk about
this is off. See,
but
it's off brand.
No, off 1 sec.
It's off brand.
I have talked to the people on Ty's World about how General Mills is killing their kids. But
that's on brand.
It is on brand.
I would have to come.
Now hold on now.
I would have to come from the stance of like the makeup, the clothing industry, how, you know, like I would have to come from the stance from, you know, the fake hair that we're putting on our heads and why it's, you know,
girl,
not
you know what? Don't do it.
I would have to go at it there. I can't come at, I'm not coming for the politics because they're not here for that. The brands aren't here for that. I'm here for that, and I know I'm here for that, so I make a separate platform because I want to still talk about this.
Do you think
they're still important to me?
No. Do you think that is, you know, do you think that is, you know what, now that you say that, it's so true, because so many of Young Pharaoh's fans go on his page and talk about, like, okay, can we get back to what you used to talk about?
Like when he talks about boxing and stuff, that's off brand. No one came to him to see that, you know? So I think it's a time and a place. It's not that I'm not trying to be truthful there. It's just that's not what people came there to see, you know?
Yeah.
So, but that's why it's like people might be like, Nigel, why are you even talking about this? Like, go beat your face. Like, go do your hair. Like, go, you know, go change your mini skirt. What are you even talking about? You sound crazy. Because they're not here for that. They're not following me for that. You know, I can build up an audience for that. It just wouldn't be there.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I wouldn't go live on Couture Love talking to this because they over there buying clothes. So.
That's what I mean. It's off brand. But I use my Nija Sim platform to talk about these things because they are passionate to me. But I have to draw a line. I can't talk about child trafficking, Luciferian sacrifices, Satan. I can't talk about that there because that's off brand.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I get
That's
it. You're
not
right.
the place.
And
Those aren't the people.
I also have to really understand, y'all. I have so many platforms. I have a lot of them. So I think I have like 7 Instagram accounts, and in every category, even with Ty, like she said, I'd be like, look, don't give your kids the goddamn that Quaker Oat guy, don't, because they slowly killing them, you know. And I try to tell them about the cereal and stuff like that. But with Couture, I'm not telling anybody no clothes is killing nobody from China.
Exactly.
So
It's off
I don't know.
brand. They're like, I didn't come here for that. I don't care about that. If you go to them and tell them these politicians they're gonna be like, okay, but I'm here to buy puzzles and books. So can we talk about that?
I will say I do angel numbers on Couture Love. I do, you know, manifestation quotes on Couture Love and stuff like that. And you have mentioned a little bit to the point where you switched over to Celestial Mind. So you did enlighten your viewers a little bit. You know what I mean?
I just never made a personal Instagram account for that. I feel like that would be a bit excessive, but that's the only reason why it's a little bit confusing or mucky.
Ooh, you heard Nika. That is not even true.
What? What did you just? What?
Nigel just said that she has not made an Instagram page about this because it will be
not for Celestial Mind.
Girl, what you think Spiritual Tea is?
But that's our platform together.
Granted, it is, but Nigel, you be having a buttload shit to say.
So you think I should just be coming on Spiritual Tea and talking about these things?
Well, you use Spiritual Tea to talk about these things, and you use my platform to talk about these things, and you're always on here on my live talking about these things. So
that's true. That's true. That's true. I'm not gonna lie. That's true.
You are already.
We can give Spiritual Tea some more TLC, some more tea talks.
Guys, Nija this past week was learning about so many different things as far as with young Pharaoh and higher perspective and life after death and so many different things. And when she gets wrapped up in it, she receives so many downloads that's like above. Yeah, it's crazy. I can barely like follow her sometimes unless I'm in the sun when she's talking about it. And it's crazy because she gets
it's just channeled messages.
And now she's talking like she don't say nothing.
But we get them. No, we both get them. But I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. That was so personal.
But no, now we know.
Yeah, we do. But anyway,
you're right. I can go up there. I guess because I get so much attention to Nija Sim. I'm like, if I'm gonna go live, I want people to see me there. But you're right. If the content's offbeat, I have to take it somewhere else. So,
and to me, I feel like spiritually right now that is great. But there's a reason why you have to use these platforms to do what you got to do, because you signed up to lift the vibration of everyone. And I think that is not a job for like just Nija. It's everybody's job. Everybody who's on this live, everybody's going to see the replay. You need to take some of this information. I don't even care if you tell it with your friend and be like, hey, you know, I saw Ashley and her girlfriend on Instagram talking some shit. And they be like, well, what did she say? Repeat what I said to that person. Because I want it to be, I want it to be like wildfire. So when these things come up to surface, you can understand that you might have been listening to the wrong stuff. I'm just here to give you a different perspective. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm just here to tell you to open your ears and listen to multiple people. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So, yeah. All right. So we're gonna share this video.
You're gonna do it now?
Yeah. No, I wasn't saying I wasn't gonna do it. I just was saying that the people who wanted to hear it was on the other channel.
Yeah.
And
we can go back over there.
Well, then everybody that's on this channel, I'm gonna have to drop their asses, and they don't all follow 10-20 Awakens.
Okay.
I mean, when you break it all down like that, it makes sense. I never tune into boxing videos either. Okay, yeah. So when you know what I mean, when you break it down like that, you can kind of understand, because I did see a lot of young Pharaoh's friends or followers like going ham, like, we're sick of this. Like,
I never tuned into those videos.
How you gonna tell somebody you sick of they stuff? Like, this is their platform, like.
Right, but that's the thing. Like, he had to make a separate.
All right. So let's take this blow by blow because y'all know I'm gonna remember. Okay.
Did
So
y'all hear all that?
I know I was laughing the first time I heard
Is
it.
anybody listening?
Did y'all hear when that nigga said
Did
live
y'all
from
hear
nigga
that?
news? Nigga news. Like, nigga
Oh
news. Like,
my.
I'm hot. I'm hot. I need to turn the
I'm
air
getting
on.
hot too.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go through what we heard. Okay. When he talked about Hillary Clinton, like I always tell y'all, they leave you guys breadcrumbs in the news. You get little pieces. Hillary Clinton computer got seized and she went and she destroyed it. Okay, it was supposed to be seized because she had a private line that she was sending information to other countries, and it got exposed. Not only was that exposed, emails about pizza and different kinds of food in exchange for large sums of money was on her computer too, and no one understood what they were talking about. Okay, so this surfaced on the real news, its and bits and pieces of it, and then it was killed. No one, she couldn't run for president. Everybody just shot her down, and she just kind of went off into the dust. Okay, he talks about this when he's talking about chicken and sacrificing of kids and all of that. Now I know y'all remember the Pizza Brigade. They talked about that. It was an underground pizza place in Washington, D.C. that had a cellar where they were getting kids and raping them and torturing them underneath this Pizza Brigade. Okay, underneath this pizzeria place. All right. The next topic that he talks about is Barack Obama and Michelle. Okay. Now, this is just a difficult topic for everybody. I'm not going to sit here and say this is an easy topic for anybody. I mean,
I'm going to tell people, I'm going to say why this is so hard for us to understand. Because when Obama ran, they kind of pushed it as he's Black people's savior. He's going to fix this. He's going to do things right. He's the people for us. He's the one. He's the one. And we kind of ate that ish up. We were like, yeah, we finally won. Yeah, we finally got, feeling all good about ourselves when he was implanted by the deep state. So all the agendas he was pushing not for himself and not for his people, for the deep state, So
and we secretly know that. We secretly know that as Black people, because a lot of Black people were like, okay, Obama didn't do anything for Black people, and then the other side of the Black people are like, well, he was the first Black president, so they were looking for him to do stuff, so he really couldn't do nothing. He damn sure made that White House all the colors of the gay rainbow, so he could do something. Okay, and they're saying that, like I said, some of these things leak out on the news anyway. You saw in at least 5 different articles that he kept calling Michelle publicly Michael over and over in speeches that are pre-made. Why are you calling him Michael? You just keep calling him Michael. And they're like, oh, people make mistakes. I have never made a mistake, been with a man and accidentally called them Kim. I don't lay with no women. I'm not calling you the wrong name. That just doesn't make any sense. Michael and Michelle are just two extremes. Like, okay, so that is the other trail of breadcrumbs that you need to look further into, because he did say Michael. You can go look that up. You'll see, you'll listen to those speeches, you'll hear him say that. When I looked deeper into it, they both attended Harvard, but there was no Michelle. It was Michael. Okay, and Michael was his best friend that turned into his gay lover. And a lot of people were going to ask, well, what about those 2 kids? Those kids are adopted. Okay, you just need to go look up your receipts. It's not my job to prove it to you, because when they came into me, I looked at that Helen DeGeneres video so many times, like, is it a dig? Can I see a dig? I mean, I looked at it so many times just to see if I could see one, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not in her pants, and I just don't care. All I'm saying is that if people are saying these rumors, don't jump and be like, don't be talking about Obama. Don't do that, because we don't know what Obama does behind closed doors.
And that's another, it's just that indoctrination. Like, we're like, oh no, but he's for us, But no, you don't know. We've been told Obama's for us and Trump isn't for us. And then, then we realize that Trump is doing more for us than Obama. Like, a lot of people are going to be confused. Like, this is,
yeah,
it's going to shake you to your core. Like, what?
Yeah, and a lot of people who are sitting here on my platform and they're like, oh, Ashley, you support Trump. You need to stop looking at the television. Because if you would stop listening to what everyone else is saying and hopping on this
really
bandwagon,
because it's a fake game. It's not even real.
It's not real, okay? It's just not, okay?
They're like fighting for positions that we all collectively created. If we all collectively say those positions aren't real, that's not real.
Or it's not necessary for, you know, these people to govern me and make decisions over me. I can govern myself.
The power kind of collapse. Then it's like, what are they there for? What do they do? You know?
Right. Because, I mean, honestly, the only thing that really has affected us all over the place is this damn pandemic. We allowed it to lock us down, but it was a blessing. It allowed everyone to slow down and really pay attention to these topics, to these things. And I do want to say this. If you don't believe anything that I'm saying, Nija is better going through the timeline. Nija, can you please tell all of the great events that have occurred in 2020 as it has started?
Oh yeah, okay. So if you guys haven't peeped this yet, we're intentionally being triggered right now. Well, not we, because we personally are starting to view things from the fourth dimension instead of the third dimension. But right now, the world is going through a series of triggers right now. Kind of starting with Kobe Bryant, but that might not even be the first thing to pop off in 2020. No, the first thing to pop off in 2020 was World War III. Do you remember when they were like, "We're about to go"? What?
I need to start. I'm gonna start writing down all the activities. You're right. It was World War III.
Because we're gonna start there. As soon as the ball dropped, the first thing we wanted, they're trying to propel into our heads. World War III. World War III. What? And people are like, what?
We're going to war. What? But I don't think that gave enough fuel for that, because I don't believe nobody really believed we was going.
We were like, oh, okay, the memes are fun. The memes are fun because it's 2020 and we made it, and the memes are fun. But no one really is on that timeline. No one. That was not even on anyone's timeline. Therefore, that's not what happened. But let me tell you guys how the media works. If everyone collectively, consciously is on that timeline, on that frequency. Another example is like the vaccines. I'll only say it once because we don't want the live to get shut down. But there is a timeline where they're trying to propel that's going to be the future, and that's what's going to happen next, right? So you have to, it's literally a game of consciousness where they're propelling out timelines. That's what media is. The news, propelling timelines. Movies that are based in the future, propelling timelines. We want you to believe this is the direction we're going in. This is where we're all going. Believe it. And then we do collectively move into that direction. So first one is World War III. Second one was Kobe Bryant dying, right? I'm sorry to say, we all love Kobe, but he might have been one of them people. And it might have been in his contract to, go
have a tragic death.
Die, have a tragic death. But why has that been predicted in several different media, movie, why is that everywhere before it even happened? These things leak because they're trying to warn people, give you a heads up. Can you pick up on the symbolism? Can you pick up on the clues? Did you see that? Did you peep that? Are you awake? Are you watching?
Yeah.
It's all out there. It all has to be out there, right? So yeah, okay. So that was the next thing. And then what was the third thing?
COVID-19.
Yeah, COVID-19. And even on a smaller level, remember how they were saying the locust? Is that what it's called? The little grasshoppers?
Oh yeah, we're taking over Las Vegas. Yeah, you're right.
Killer hornets, anything to get people to stay inside and to stay in fear. And there was COVID, and then now there's this shooting. Anything to trigger people. They need people to be triggered. They need people to be anxious and to be afraid. Why? Because it's easier to control people when they're on that frequency. So once you start to view things from the fourth dimension, you kind of understand why they want people to be triggered, how the news can even be used to tamper with and mess with people's perception.
Yep. And I just want you guys to understand that there's going to be many more. Right after COVID-19, you saw how everybody was like, oh, people are dying daily. Da, da, da. You need to wear masks. Actually, you're going out. You don't have on no mask. You should see how many people was telling me, oh, I ain't got no mask on. And now we just talking about this. They know people with no mask on.
Baby, I'm breathing even fun.
You see anybody out there loitering and doing all that with masks on? They probably still are, which doesn't make any kind of sense. But at the end of it all, oh wow, they're about to cut me off in 2 minutes. Okay, so this will be over in 2 minutes. At the end of it all, there's going to be many more. Everything that we have not dealt with publicly has to come to a head bolt. You know, when you're about to bust that pimple, it has to be all the way, and all that shit has to gush out, because we have to know the truth about all perspectives. So just be ready for 2019 for a real whirlwind. It's about to.
Girl, we're in 2020.
Oh, what did I say?
2019.
Oh yeah, it's over. Okay, so just get ready for 2020, because it's gonna be one hitter after the next, and you're gonna really start to see that we're getting played. Like, what happened to COVID? Anybody wondering about what happened to COVID? Like, nobody ain't
Because
dying no
we're
more.
all collectively talking about it. It's a thing. If nobody was talking about it, if nobody cared, would it really be a thing? Would this really be a pandemic? Like, is this even really real, or is this real because we all said it was real and we allowed the media to make us think it's real? And we, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, because it's not
these
real
things that
anymore.
we think are real, these
The only
wars
thing that's
across
real is
here
that
that we
guy.
think are real, are they real? What's going on?
Yeah, doesn't matter your belief. Your belief is the strongest thing you have. So if you believe in something wrong, it's true. If you believe in something right, it's true. Now, I'm not saying that you don't know right from wrong, because you do instinctively, because you're God, and you know what actions you do will give you that good feeling. You know what actions that you do to give you that negative feeling. You know, but some people just crave to do the bad thing. You know, you might be messing with somebody's man and you be like, I just can't do it because I want to do it. You craving the wrong thing, but you still want it. You know, you still getting satisfied. So I hope this helped you guys. I have like 17 seconds. I love to enlighten you guys. And if you want more